NASDAQ futures just opened up and they're looking a little red. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky here with Technical Solutions here with a super quick market update. Obviously, today is Labor Day, so in observance to Labor Day, the stock market is closed. But again, just like anything, let's take time and prepare in advance to see what's to come for this upcoming week. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. We got QQQ, which is the NASDAQ ETF. It's the 1-for-1. And after last week's performance, we saw a really nice push up, testing as of right now a slight little resistance level, as we can see here, and seeing if we can work our way back up to 388, which is previous highs for 2023. But if we look at the overall day chart, we're not that far from all-time highs from NASDAQ, and that's at 404 for QQQ, right? So quite an interesting week that we have ahead. Did we push up enough last week that now we're going to break below the EMA and begin to retrace back down to this moving average? Or technically, are we going to hold above this EMA and continue to rally to work our way back to previous highs of $404 for QQQ? That's, as simple as we can literally put it. When it comes down to overall economic reports that are set to be released, let's go ahead and talk about that. So the overall schedule for this week, obviously today, September 4th, the market's closed. September 5th, we got factory orders that's going to be released 30 minutes after the market opens. And then on Wednesday, September 6th, we have the same schedule as always, nothing too significant that looks to be released. Thursday, initial claims, continuing claims, again, just the same setup that we tend to see every single Thursday on a weekly basis. And then on Friday, September 8th, we have wholesale inventories and consumer credit report that is all going to be released. When it comes down to the Federal Reserve calendar, just want to make sure that you guys are aware, obviously, today, in observance to Labor Day, markets closed. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, we have Governor Michelle Bowman going to be speaking. That's at 4:55 p.m. I don't see this to be too significant to the overall stock market. But on Friday, this is why I wanted to share it with you guys, we have Vice Chair of the Federal Reserve, Michael Barr, that's going to be speaking. And this is 30 minutes before the market opens Eastern time, right? So just something to take into consideration on Wednesday. If there's high expectation or low expectations of something that he could potentially say, great. But again, it's not like Jerome Powell speaking. It's Vice Chair of Michael Barr. So I don't think it should be too significant to the overall market, but only time will tell, right? When it comes down to the next time the Federal Reserve has an FOMC meeting, the Fed Rate Monitor tool is telling us that there's a 94% probability that based off of current economic data that the Federal Reserve pauses, meaning that they don't increase interest rates the next time that they have an FOMC meeting, which again means that if we don't raise interest rates, things are not necessarily getting worse, and maybe the stock market can continue to rise, right? There is a 6% probability that the Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates from 5.5 to 5.75%. So overall, it looks like a pretty chill week, nothing too significant. The biggest moves that I'm going to be focusing on and the big focus that I have this week is I want to see if we're going to see a lot of choppiness, meaning that if the market sells off one day and then tries to recover the other and then sells off the remainder of the day, right? If there's inconsistencies with the market, I'm going to keep my trading very simple. And if that's the case, then I will close out every trade after I, focus on having a big one. And then after that, close out that trade and focus on not over trading and being super selective. There's pretty big moves that can present themselves if we drop below this EMA or if we bounce off of this EMA and continue to hold above and continue to rally. But again, I just want to make sure that if it's anything like 2 weeks ago when there's a lot of inconsistencies, I just don't want to put myself in a tough spot where if direction is unclear, that I end up entering a position that I might end up regretting, right? And that's the last thing that I want. We all know that based off of how the NASDAQ market moves, other markets, other stocks move with it, right? So if NASDAQ market begins to gap down, this only means that Tesla, Apple, Microsoft can also be gapping down as well, right? If the NASDAQ market begins to gap up, then again, it can uplift those other companies as, again, they benefit one another when they move together. But if there's any negative moves, remember, you don't have to freak out. There's always money to be made as long as you focus on one thing, and that's market direction and, of course, price action. If the market sells off, you guys all know what I'm going to be paying attention to, and that's SQQQ as that goes up when the NASDAQ market goes down. So I'm very excited to see which direction the market ends up choosing. I'm just hoping for consistency, right? And as long as I have that, I'll know exactly what to play. If we hold above EMA on the 1 hour time frame, I'd like to go long. If we break below on the 1 hour time frame for QQQ, I'd like to go short. But again, for more details about what it is that I'm going to be trading, I trade live every single morning with our LPP team, and that's the second link in the description down below. That is my Learn Plan Profit group. I work with them every single day, and yes, they get to see my entries, my exits, and get to hear my thought process behind every trade I take during that live session. So if you want to learn more about that to see if it's a good fit for you, we're running one of our biggest sales for Labor Day. And yes, the second link in the description down below. I appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.